Live, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first edition of the Legion of Raw with my guy. Without further ado, man, it was so amazing last week. A lot of people got some rave reviews. One of the most watched episodes of my interviews of Sports Kitties Unscripted. So you know what? They were like, you know what? Hey, look, man, let's get something going on with this guy here. So without further ado, a sports kid colleague, a buddy of mine, and still the greatest tag team that ever stepped foot in the ring. Road Warrior Animal, how are you tonight, sir?
Hey, Chris, what's up, man? No,
You
just
doing, man?
got back from another weekend of traveling.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Man, it was great, man. I was with Gimmickry Entertainment Saturday night. I actually did an appearance at Jack Balin's toy store, man. He's got a wrestling superstore, two of them. And
Oh,
we were in Queens, New York, which is awesome. I love going to New York all the time. And then that night we had Gimmickry Entertainment had a virtual 24-hour, SummerSlam extravaganza sale there, man. It was just great.
nice.
You know what? You're never gonna forget. You're never gonna even imagine who I finally met in this business.
Who's that?
I met two guys that ended up being two great guys. The Ascension.
Okay.
I've never met the Ascension before, man. Those poor guys have gotten like totally ripped on, for being black, wearing black and red, and kind of painting their face look like Hawk and I, man. But when I heard the real thing behind them and how they started and who was telling them to try to be like Hawk and I, then I got it. It made sense.
So the backstage told him that this is what you guys are supposed to be doing, huh?
Yeah, always, bro. Yeah, you had writers who never stepped in the ring trying to tell these guys what to do and what to say because I thought it was funny and I thought it'd be cute. And
Wow.
unfortunately, it backfired for WWE and it backfired for the Ascension.
Yeah. It definitely did not bode well for the Ascension, unfortunately.
No, man.
Yeah, and they had some really good talent too. They just were,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was pretty good. There's a lot of situations there with the stuff with the Ascension that would have made more sense to bring someone like me in to do something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was to approach them or confront them, and
Yeah, yeah,
instead of Bradshaw or somebody. And nothing against Bradshaw, but it just fit because they look like my gimmick. So I mean, it would have made more sense.
And Connor was huge, man. He was a huge
And
dude.
man, I'm telling you, two great guys,
Mm-hmm.
full of respect, nice guys, and and which is very rare in our business because dog eat dog business.
Yeah.
But they're pretty good guys, man. I also saw the reinforcer Andrew Anderson was there with me. I saw Mr. USA Tony Atlas was
Oh,
backstage.
nice.
Yeah, man. So it was pretty cool.
The man with the real largest arms in the world. Move over, Scott
Man, I'm
Steiner.
telling you, he still looks good, man. He's
Yeah,
approaching 70 years old, and he
yeah,
still looks better than half the guys in the wrestling business.
yeah. Still looks like a monster. All right, so this is the first edition of the Legion of Raw. So we're going to talk about the Raw after SummerSlam. Did you catch SummerSlam at all?
No, man, I was traveling, and I went right from New York City to a SWE, which is a
Okay.
small promotion out of Dallas, Texas, and
Mhm.
I actually was in Texas doing TV.
Oh,
I was in
nice.
TV all day, man. Got there about 10:30 in the morning and didn't get out of there until 10:30 at night. So I
Oof.
missed the whole SummerSlam. I know,
Man, that sounds like an old day of work, huh?
but I will watch it though.
That's nice.
I got
Yeah.
the network. We got the network here at the house. For my grandson, mostly Jacob. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna watch that thing here probably tomorrow and get caught up on it. And so we can talk about it a little bit next time.
Nice, good stuff. All right, so let's get right into Raw. We had Drew McIntyre. So based on SummerSlam, Drew McIntyre retained the championship against Randy Orton, and he had an in-ring promo at first. He was blindside attacked by Randy Orton. And then in the back, Orton gives McIntyre a punt backstage. So it seems like we'll see a rematch between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Although the weird thing is, as what happened later on Raw, Keith Lee comes in with weird new gear and new entrance music, and it was just a catastrophe. We'll talk about that in a minute. But but the thing is, the weird thing is, Payback is this coming Sunday, a back-to-back pay-per-view after SummerSlam, and the match is Keith Lee versus Randy Orton based on Raw. But the angle throughout the show was Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. It just seems like there's a bunch of just indecision going on with the booking.
Man, it seems like they got. Well, I mean, good thing for Randy, he's involved in everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I did catch his match with Keith Lee tonight, which I thought, Keith, I think is one of your top upcoming talents coming up from NXT. He's going to be awesome, man. He's a big guy, and he can freaking go. He can move, And then Drew McIntyre, it's good. Man, I almost feel for Drew. Mm-hmm. You're the champ, and you're amidst all this, COVID crap and everything else, and you just can't. This is his time to shine, and he's not really getting to shine. Mm-hmm. I think you're right, man. Listen, Randy's hot right now. He's probably the only guy in the company who knows how to stay on you to get heat. Mm-hmm. And he's getting some heat, but he's one of those guys in our society that people make him. They hate to not like him. Mm. I mean, they like the way he is. I mean, because Randy's he's kind of funny how deliberate he is to me. I mean, I laugh at it,
Really? So yeah. What's been your experience of Randy Orton?
I knew Randy. Well, of course, I knew him. I knew Bob, his dad, a little bit, not much. I mean, our paths never crossed that much, but we did work at some shows together. But in Randy, when I first saw him, when I was doing the LOD thing with Heidenreich, Randy was there, and he just started. And I said, "Man, this guy's got some talent." Mm-hmm. You just knew right away Randy was going to be a top dog. I mean, he's really good. I mean, he was just smooth, methodical, could wrestle. His timing was always good. Yeah, and he's right. I don't know if they're pushing the envelope right now a little bit on making like he's really nuts. Mm-hmm. I mean, because someone that is that nuts, no matter what kind of organized sport you are, they're going to go get out of here. They're going to be suspended or they're going to be evaluated. Yeah, just can't keep doing what he's doing and have people really think, "Oh, wow, he's just crazy. That's just the way he is." I don't know, man. I think they're trying to push it a little bit too far. Mm-hmm. Yeah, does throw a good kick to the face, though.
Yeah,
good punt to the face, good kick to the face. I mean, he looked good, man. When he gave Drew a butt kicking tonight. Yeah. I mean, he stayed on him. That's one thing Randy knows what to do. He knows how to stay on an opponent. Mm-hmm. I tell guys all the time, man, when I help produce that show down in Texas. They're on Fight Network, that SWE. They're trying to teach the young guys how to stay on your opponent and turn up that gear. When it's your turn to shine and go, you need to go. Take that moment because that moment doesn't come too often.
Yeah, and those little nuances are very important with just the psychology of a match too. What I mean?
Yeah, man, because there is no small thing in the match. Everything is a big thing. So some people say, "Oh, that's not that big a deal." Oh, yeah, it kind of is a big deal, man. Because you know why? I think when I was playing some football and they would film our practices and see if we were screwing off. It was always, the eye in the sky don't lie. And same in wrestling, that eye and the camera that's filming you is not lying. Yeah. If you suck, you're going to suck. Yeah. If you miss something, you're going to miss something. So that's why everything has to be solid. You got to lay stuff in, and you got to go that extra mile, man. And Randy has always been great at that for a big guy. The guy looks great. I don't think he's ever played. He's like Hawk was. Hawk never played any organized sports, and Randy never played any organized sports either.
Yeah, yeah, he's got that pedigree, man. He's got that.
He's just got that natural stuff that's in your blood, and he just takes advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So now we next we had Nia Jax. She had a backstage interview, and then she was interrupted by Shayna Baszler. So over the past few weeks, we've had just a big mauling with Baszler and Nia Jax, and Nia Jax beats up one of the agents, Pat Buck, and then she gets suspended, and then she comes back and saying that she had to apologize to Pat Buck. Now, it's interesting how they're using Nia Jax. I'm not too opposed to it. The only thing is, though, the biggest problem I have is, again, I'm a big fan of baby faces and heels.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something that should never go away, because essentially you're making yourself and your opponent look good to draw a bunch of heat and give it away to the baby face, and to get that underdog pop, from the baby face. Now, when you're having Baszler, who's a heel, and then Nia Jax is a heel, just beating each other up every week, who am I going to cheer for? So I think that that's weird to me.
Yeah, man. Unless they go at it like there's a right to supremacy in the back of who's going to be the lead heel,
Mm-hmm.
But that's all behind the scenes politics. That has nothing to do with the wrestling business. I always found it really hard when you have two baby faces wrestling each other and two heels wrestling each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to do that. And you're right, man. I'm a big believer in definitely drawing that line in the sand, saying, "Hey, I am the baby face and I am the heel in that match." I agree with you. Nia tonight, I looked at it. First of all, her hair looked like a big thing of lime green licorice. I'll bring it up. I looked at it and I said, "What in the hell is that?" And I'm looking at it going, "What in the world, man?" And and she's I'll tell you what, I give her credit though, man, for a bigger girl, the biggest girl in the wrestling business. She don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think she's still trying to find her identity with her look.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once she nails that down, listen, you're Samoan. Just be Samoan.
Mm-hmm.
You're a big Samoan girl, man. And I would take advantage of that. I don't know, Shayna Baszler, I know she's, was, MMA fighter and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, nobody really, to be honest with you, Chris, did you even know who she was before she got into wrestling? I never seen her fight that many MMA fights.
Yeah, vaguely. And her MMA record's not that impressive. She was in there for a while. But she has some quality wins, but she has some big losses too. But my thing is with Baszler, they're giving her the MMA shtick. They're selling that for her, but I really wish she had a stick man. Like her charisma to me is so flat. And I just really want,
yeah, she is, man. She's very vanilla for a heel.
Yeah.
She does it. If and I don't know why they don't do it, but if they would have the girls have a real good quality manager, it's like she's one of those. She's almost like Brock and Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Paul talks so well for Brock that Brock doesn't really need to say a word. Brock goes out there and does it all by his ability.
Yep.
I think, Shayna, that's what they should do with her. Give her somebody that can talk for her.
Now, you think you should be a female or a male for?
I think, that's a tough one, man.
Because there's not a lot of good managers.
There's not a lot of females out there that can talk that great.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying it's a role that hasn't been around for female wrestling ever.
Yeah, except for Sherry Martel, that's really about it.
If it was Sherry Martel, it'd get over.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Sherry would just go, "Hey, I know what it's like and what it takes to be a bad SOB.
Yeah,
I'm going to help her be a bad SOB.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Try to unleash that inner freaking violence. Because she's so. You're right, man. Shayna does not. It's like she doesn't let it go and let loose.
Mm-hmm.
Just let's let the gimmick fly. It's almost like a forced heel.
Yes.
And I think the fans can see that in the wrestling business, man, because there's no. I always say that with all the sports fans, no smarter fans than the wrestling fan, right? Fans are our bread and butter, and I think they're just like getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
They're dying. You're right. They're dying to say, "I hate you, boo."
Exactly.
And they're not able to do it.
Yeah. Victor's saying, bring in Paul Ellering, Precious Paul for Shayna Baszler.
That's not a bad idea. Someone like Paul, a male figure that could, cross the line, and because Paul would cover it in a way that's, hey, WWE didn't want me to do tag team wrestling or wrestling in the men's division. Well, you know what? I'm going to do it in the women's division.
Yeah.
You know, and Paul would cover it easily in a promo.
Yeah, it's still weird how they just let him go from AOP and they put in Drake Maverick out of anybody.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about that this weekend a little bit, man. You know, when you know, I was with Paul Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Paul and I did an appearance together in Queens and in the virtual show, and it's always great, man. You know, there again, another, you know, Ellering's always remembered for being with Hawk and I.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's hard, and to take that knowledge, they should have taken that and really let it run. And you know, AOP should have been going in there murdering guys.
Yep.
With Paul at the helm, if they really wanted to get over.
Yep.
And they just didn't let it fly, man. Now I think those poor guys, you know, one of they got Razor got hurt, or Razor got hurt, and now, you know, they may never be the same after this.
Yeah, and just because of that, you know, Akam is just out. You know, they're not even using him. And the weird thing is they were Seth Rollins' disciples. One of them got hurt, so both of them left. You know, I mean, that was
I don't understand that, how they just couldn't let the other one just be the muscle.
Exactly.
Exactly. There somehow, you know.
Yeah. He could have just been. To me, it would have been much better except for just him and Buddy Murphy, because Buddy Murphy's just the fall guy. You know, he's just kind of like the lackey. You know.
But you know, they were having a hard time though back there. If you ever watch some of the backstage stuff, they were really having a hard time getting. Like, if you would have said Hawk and I back there and say, "Okay, be nasty," and beat those guys up, you would have known that someone was going to get beat up. And Akam and Razor were like, again, trying to, how can I say it? I mean, one was an amateur wrestler and one was an amateur MMA guy. They should know how to be nasty and naturally fight instead of trying to do. I mean, everybody is thrown into the big metal garage door where it makes some sound, and then when you jump on a guy and you start trying to hit, you know, punches on the ground, it's the same crap, man.
Yeah,
you gotta. If you're in a fight and someone steals your lunch money at school and you're out in the schoolyard, you're gonna fight.
That's right.
You know, everybody's tough until they get punched in the mouth. The old Mike Tyson line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, and that's what I think. That's what I think. You know, they don't. I don't know who's directing their segments, but that person needs to be talked to, because, man, let the guys go.
Yeah,
the guy didn't become a top guy over in the Netherlands, wherever he's from, by beating nobodies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just weird to me. It's a ready-made dominant tag team with AOP.
Yeah, and they look good.
Yeah,
they actually look like literal brothers. You know, even though, you know, they're not. And when this day and age, when WWE is so, you know, they're so dependent on just throwing two guys together. Here you got a natural looking tag team, and you're doing nothing with them.
Right.
You know, they're trying to force feed. You know, they're really big with doing that, WWE, man. They like to force feed two guys and trying to say, oh, we can throw anybody together and make a team. No, you can't, man.
No.
Tag team wrestling is another question I got asked this weekend. Is the telepathy. Hawk and I had a telepathy. We knew what each other was thinking. We would complete each other's sentences. We knew where each other needed to be in the ring, what was going on, if something was screwed up, what to do to capitalize on that and fix it in a match, you know, and can work with any guy. It didn't matter who you were. If you were a heel, it was an easy match. We knew we could adapt to you. You know, and when that comes along, very few. It seemed like Akam and Razor had that naturally, and they just kind of freaking.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, as far as this telepathy, because now a lot of times nowadays WWE just hand the title, they just plug the titles on people. You know what I mean? Like right now on SmackDown, it's Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. You know what I mean? Like,
what an unlikely combination that is. There is a coincidence there.
I love them.
When you got a Sweden and a Japanese guy, Japanese guy. You know,
it just doesn't. I mean, both of them talent wise, fantastic, but just putting them together,
individually they can wrestle their rear ends off.
And
they can sell a product, but together at a promo, I'm sorry, they suck. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's not. I mean, and the fans can see it.
That's right.
You
That's
know
right.
why you would even do anything with Shinsuke? He was a great guy fighting for our belt all the time. The
Right.
people loved him. He was
Mm-hmm.
your both oddball babyface.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was doing that stuff with Daniel Bryan. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was got over.
Yep. Yep.
You know, and then
I agree.
they said, okay, we're just gonna, nah, what are you doing, Cesaro? Nothing. We're gonna put you guys together.
Right.
That's maybe when they put their names in a hat, they just drew two guys, and those two came out
Right. Right. A battle bowl. There you go.
No kidding. Yeah, we're making vegetable soup. We're gonna pick out two peas so we can get them. Come on.
With the old school battle bowl edition there, and just stuck with
man.
them.
So yeah, it's I feel bad for those guys, but you're right, man. Especially with that company, you're considered a top dog company,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to have a more cohesive. You need to fix that tag team division.
Yeah.
They need to fix it and really get serious about the tag teams.
Yeah, I agree.
Because right now, I tell you, who's getting more heat than anybody as a tag team is freaking is Lana and Little Miss
Natalia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Maddie's getting, they're so stupid together. It's funny.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. It's good, And I think
That's still growing on me because Natalia she's just so talented, man.
Yeah.
And it just
she could wrestle, man. And the lineage that Natalia has come from the Great Heart Foundation family.
Yeah.
And and it's just like, I think for a while you could see with her gimmick being used, and she was flat.
Yeah.
She was just flat.
Yeah.
And when that happens to you, man, I know from experience, the wind just comes out of your sails, and it makes it hard to go to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know where you deserve to be, you know where you should be,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you can't get there, you don't get there, or they're not giving you that push to be there. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So she's a trooper for sticking it out. But I don't know. I'm sitting there trying to think too. We were talking on that topic on who you get to manage somebody like a Baszler. You could have a guy. I don't know if there's a female out there who you could really, that's really nasty in the wrestling business today.
I can't think of anybody.
Even from the past, I can't think of.
Wow. There's a lot of people on the joining us live right now. Chat, what do you think? Who should manage Shayna Baszler? And she has to have qualities of Sherry Martel. I mean, she was a manager. She wasn't like Miss Elizabeth, like a valet. She was a manager.
Sherry can go from Harlem Heat to any team and adjust to that team.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels.
That's what it was great about it. Sherry, Sherry was like a freaking chameleon.
Yeah,
seriously. She could change whatever, and fit into that role as a manager. Any type of managerial role she could do.
Yep, 100%. Absolutely. I would say the best female manager of all time for sure.
Oh yeah, man. Sherry was one of my buddies, man. I mean, it's funny as brash as Sherry was. The top guys really protected Sherry like a sister. Yeah. And and which she didn't need any protecting. We just did anyway. Because we were all extreme friends.
Yeah, it's good. Scotty says Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, but you got to be able to talk.
Yeah.
Scotty, think about it. You got to go out there and deliver a promo and sell a product. Ronda did it on her laurels. Ronda did it on her own experience. Ronda, you can't be a manager and be a badder ass than the person you're trying to promote. You know what I mean?
That's what happened a lot with the Paul Heyman guys. Like Paul Heyman was more over than when Cesaro was a Paul Heyman guy, when he managed, Curtis Axel, and what I mean? Like he was more over than the superstar he was managing.
Yeah. And what got Paul Heyman heat, here you had a guy that was bald and fat being Brock Lesnar's manager and Cesaro's manager. It's natural heat for being no different than when Paul Bearer coming out with Taker. When Taker was a heel, and then with Kane, when Kane was a heel. It's a natural fit. People are going, what is this short fat guy telling me about? How does Taker get him to be a manager? And that's the same with Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
Paul is such a great talker. My
Yeah.
gosh, man.
Brandon says Paul Heyman.
Yeah, Paul Heyman would be one of the best managers ever in wrestling.
Yeah. Victor says Terry Runnels.
Terry would be an interesting one.
She never really compelled me on the stick though.
No, she wasn't good on the mic either.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't see that one very much. The more I think about it, I don't.
Stephanie McMahon.
That might work, being the boss and being able to handpick Shayna's matches. You know what I mean? In a way.
Yeah.
You can handpick them, and Shayna just starts walking through people.
Yeah.
Even in a championship match, Stephanie could arrange special stipulations where it makes it easy for Shayna. That I can see.
I like that.
Stephanie can talk.
I like that. Yeah, just some special favors for Shayna Baszler. I like that. That's good.
Goes from like rated number 10 to number 1.
Yeah. I like that. That's a good idea. All right, so next we had Shayna Baszler defeating Bayley by disqualification. We had Shayna Baszler being attacked by Nia Jax. And then Bayley and Banks, they brag. And then Baszler and Jax, they faced them on the ramp, which was just really weird to me because it was super weird to me because Nia Jax comes in, starts beating up Shayna Baszler. And then instead of Baszler retaliating, they just both look at Sasha Banks and Bayley. It was just super, super weird to me that
why would they be together and teaming up for anything?
Yeah, it's just like instead of Shayna Baszler retaliating, she just like does nothing, and then they just look at them brag at her. The transition to that was just really weird.
There's a transition there lost within the writing team.
Yeah,
they're not thinking things all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Who sits back there and thinks, well, you know what? We're going to have Nia come down and attack Shayna, but then again, we're going to have both of them beat up Bayley and Sasha Banks together.
Yeah.
What? Why? What would have got it over worse is if they really would have got it more. You should have Baszler not only hit Nia, have him hit both Bayley and Banks too.
Yeah.
Then let her walk out. If you
really
want to get some steam on somebody, because you would have done it with Nia back in the time.
And it's still just weird to me that all four of them are heels, and it just who am I cheering for?
Well, here's your thing. The reason why they're doing that is either somebody's going to make a real obvious big time turn, or B, there's a shortage of girls that can do it in that company.
Yeah, or C, both,
or C together both. Because why are you trying to put two heel teams against each other?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Four heels in a match.
Yeah.
No tell you what it's going to draw. It's not even going to draw flies on a pile of poop. Is what it's going to it won't because people, like you say, people want to say yay, and boo. They want to cheer for the good guy and they want to boo for the bad guy.
Yeah,
and you're not giving. What happened to giving the fan what you want?
Right. Yeah, and
the fans wrote in and said, "Hey, put Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax together." Something I'm waiting to see.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that. Yeah, I've been dreaming about that one.
Jeez, I'm glad I get into wrestling to see this one. They're not waiting to see that. That's not giving the fan what they want to see.
No, it's not, because the thing is, they finally Sasha Banks and Bayley has gotten over as heels, as legitimate female heels. People boo them. And people don't like Nia Jax. She's, seriously booed. People don't like Shayna Baszler because she's flat. And so it's like, what am I rooting for in this match?
Yeah. I think it is, man. I think they're having a hard time with no live audience in there and see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Listen, that virtual thing they got going on with the crowd now. At first I looked at it and I said, WTF, what? But then it kind of grew on me.
Yeah, me too.
If everybody's really tuned in live, right? And so you can see their facial expressions, give them thumbs up or thumbs down on camera with it. So that kind of grew on me. But there's no real fan reaction to where the writer can see that they're making a grave mistake in some of the things they do.
Yep.
That's an issue.
I agree 100%. Next, we got Akira Tozawa defeating R-Truth, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander to be a new 24/7 champion. Now, I love R-Truth, and I love this.
Don't get me started on Cedric Alexander thing right now.
We'll get to it. I want to get you started, but the thing is, okay, so this 24/7 championship, if it's for the purpose of just having R-Truth come out every week, I'm fine with it. I love R-Truth. I think he's absolutely hilarious.
Great. He's great. And, at first I hated the whole idea. But then it's kind of grown on me, but
yeah. My thing is,
what if you won it now, like 30 times or something?
Yeah, like 35, almost 40 times. Yeah,
that's pretty good. And he calls it his baby, and he loves it. That part I love about it, and I laugh my rear end off. To be honest with you. I really do. But I think that the belt with the company is like a mockery. But it's so much like a mockery that it's become probably the most exciting championship in the company right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because of the funny. Yeah, and then my thing is,
at least entertainment behind it.
Yeah, and at least it's giving people exposure. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And otherwise, you won't be on TV. Like, who would know? Who would even care about Akira Tozawa? Without the 24/7 championship. You know what I mean? Here's my only gripe about it. Someone like a Shelton Benjamin being in that fold makes absolutely no sense to me, especially being in the Hurt business and just, you're kind of being a part of the comedy act. I'm okay with Shelton being a 24/7 champ and to have some type of gold with the Hurt business. But the problem is that he doesn't belong in that comedy stuff, man.
No, man, what they should do is have Shelton Benjamin go in there, and whether it's R-Truth or whoever, freaking destroy him, win the belt, and throw it on the guy he beats.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, keep it. I don't want it. That would give Shelton heat.
Yeah.
That's what they should let Shelton do. Listen, man, you got a legitimate All-American there.
Fellow Minnesota guy. Yeah,
went to school with Brock.
Yeah.
Minnesota, man. I remember seeing both of those guys compete there because we had a couple of gyms that a lot of the guys at Minnesota worked out at, and and Shelton, but Cedric, man, what in the hell was that arm wrestling thing tonight? That segment. It was the most worst thing I've ever seen when it comes to an arm wrestling deal.
Yeah. It was
let me cheat as a baby face. Let me cheat, beat Bobby, and then beat Bobby up in the ring too.
Yeah.
The best looking guy in the company.
Yeah.
And he's just getting all beat up.
Yeah.
First of all, Bobby doesn't have that kind of heat where he should be getting his ass kicked like that. To be honest with you.
Yeah, he's they really need to
got
give
that kind of heat.
Yeah.
Everybody will see him get beat up.
Yeah.
But Bobby doesn't. Bobby's such a clean looking baby face in his sleep, man.
Yes. I agree. I think they really need to work on. See, I to be honest with you, I really want Lashley to be a baby face. I just think that he just fits the baby face role better.
I think if Bobby was the baby face and he was in Cedric's spot with the belt, I think it would be over like a son of a gun. Now, I don't know Cedric personally, right?
Or Apollo. Apollo has the championship now. Yeah, you mean Apollo.
No, I mean Apollo, yeah. But I'm trying to which one does Cedric have?
Well, he had the 24/7 championship. He was going back and forth. Yeah. He's teaming with Ricochet, but
because Apollo did the arm wrestling with Bobby, right?
Yes, Apollo did the arm wrestling.
That part now, there is what I'm saying. When he talks, he's such a goody two shoes nice guy.
Yeah.
What? Tell me what's missing in your eyes when Apollo talks. Something's missing because he's not a baby face. If they really had a crowd in there, I don't believe the crowd would be following him as a baby face.
You know what? That's the thing. I really like Apollo. He's one of my favorite there, but
he can wrestle his rear end off.
Yeah, he can.
He's talented.
but character-wise, there's just a missing. Like, it's been like that with Apollo, though. That's the reason why I think he should have stayed in NXT.
Yeah,
They should have called him up.
Since day one, I've never seen anything different than this real humble pie babyface type stuff. And it seems like something's missing there. Something's just not clicking all the way.
Yeah.
And he's got all the talent in the world, looks great, built like like a god out there, right? Like he and Bobby, they look great. I mean, we'll talk
How would you book them?
All those guys. Well, I think to be a great babyface, you have got to have been a nasty heel first to know what it takes to bring out that baby in that babyface. If you go out there and just try to be a straight up babyface, because the things that he does, like that arm wrestling thing, tonight I just thought was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do, man. You know, it's like they said, it was almost like a situation that I've been in that company before where they said, okay, you got a 10-minute segment of the arm wrestling thing. We're going to let you work it and make it good. And by the time you get to it, they say 30 seconds. You know, you're trying to squeeze all that stuff you're supposed to do into 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree. I think that NXT would have been a better thing for him because he was in NXT for a while and they just called him up out of nowhere. Like they just really, and he didn't even really establish himself in NXT.
It's not like he was the champ in NXT.
Right, exactly.
Right? I mean, it's not like he's a champ. You know, speaking of NXT, there's where I think you could really improve the WWE women's division, man. There's half the girls in NXT should be up here.
Yes. NXT, I agree. NXT to me,
around the Randolph, you know, the Japanese girls in NXT.
Io Shirai. Yep. I agree. I think that I say this on my show every week. I think NXT out of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW, I think NXT has the best women's division.
Yeah, and then you have the who's the black girl with the real long ponytail?
Bianca Belair. She's a star.
Oh, bro, she is freaking like hands down.
Yes,
one of the most talented girls I've ever seen. Physically, move-wise, looks like an athlete, right? And the things they do with her, I don't understand.
Yeah. I think that she should be champ. Like at WrestleMania, I think she should win the Raw title. I think they should push her to the moon.
Man, I agree with you 100% there. Yeah. She should be in one of those lead roles somewhere and not just left hanging in the middle. Because she came up and then we didn't see her for like a month.
Right.
And now she's starting to come back a little bit. She was telling tonight, you know, and I saw it.
Yeah.
She could do some really good stuff. The problem with the girls' matches, especially when they get in the tag, you can see how much it's been rehearsed, though. They're waiting for each other to do moves coming out of the corners or doing something. They're waiting for it, and you can't do that. It's got to be naturally.
Yeah. You know, Jamie says, you're right. Chris Apollo belongs to NXT atmosphere. Yeah.
I think Apollo would really flourish in an NXT type atmosphere.
Absolutely, 100%. So next we got Randy Orton. He cuts the in-ring promo, interrupted by Keith Lee. So
what's the black and pink?
You know, see,
big Keith Lee, man, I saw that.
He's done the black and pink before. Here's my problem with this segment. This is the reason why Keith Lee is hands down one of my favorites in all of wrestling right now. That dude is an absolute star. They, to me, for his debut, flat. It was just not good to me because one, you changed his music. A lot of the fans are so used to the Bask in His Glory music. You start off with that and you get some generic type of addition to it, the beginning. And then he comes out with shorts with his zip up. And his gear was horrible. And I'm like, what are they doing? His knee pads are down. He's got shorts on now. And it's like, I like the promo he cut, when cutting. I think interfering Randy Orton's promo was good for like initiation. But just really, really weird to me how they try. It just, to me, what it seems like was, Keith Lee was Triple H's baby, made him a big name, did a good job. And then Vince, Vince gets a hold of him. What's this? And so I think you can see it because his gears changed. He's got the top now to cover his belly, and he's got the shorts on and stuff like that. I don't mind the top part, but he needs to go back to the tights. You know what I mean? I think it should be kind of like singlet.
They to me, they should have done that. Yeah, you're right, man. With his Raw debut right there, why would whoever he had, he should have squashed.
Yes, exactly, 100%.
They should have let him. And I know they're probably rushing him for Randy coming up for this next pay per view that's up real soon, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a filler thing. But why bring up your top guy in NXT for a filler?
Exactly.
Man,
amen.
You put all this time and money. Literally, they spent millions of dollars building him up.
Yeah.
Have him come up here and have Randy take him out.
Right.
That to me didn't make sense. I think you should get Keith up here and literally for 2 months, 3 months, let him just beat up people.
Yes.
And then make little comments about Randy.
Yep.
Randy, I'm coming for you. And boom, and pop it and beat a guy in the ring in 2 seconds. You need to, I tell people that all the time, man. That's what, again, working down with this company I'm doing down in Dallas. That's the way we're doing it. Mm-hmm. It's back to old school type things. Got guys coming in. We want this one guy to be a monster. We're having them come in and freaking murder people. Mm-hmm. It's not going to hurt the business. I think they're so afraid when guys like Hogan got so strong and we got so strong that it was hurt. I said, how did it hurt the business? We sold out every night for you.
Yeah, I think Triple H and I think Vince, because Ryback wants, he said Triple H told him that he doesn't want anybody to transcend the business after Cena. You know what I mean? And so everybody's just kind of booked 50-50. You know what I mean? So nobody has that larger than life feel anymore. And I'm like, man, that's terrible.
Like who they want to like, though.
Exactly.
Why go against the grain and fight it when the fans will tell you who they want to like?
Yeah, because it's hurting your business because you're losing money like that. You're losing ratings.
Man, listen, Hogan was the red and gold and the baby face of baby faces. The big blonde guy that's 6'5" in the ring. People loved him. Mm-hmm. Say your prayers, brother. And all this. And the parents, it wasn't a person. The parents were afraid to say yes. Be like that guy.
Right. Exactly.
When he was over and hot, right?
Yeah.
And it was with the Hawk and I. It was the thing they took advantage of against the Russians. Mm-hmm. As soon as we went against Ivan and Nikita Koloff, we were baby faces. Mm-hmm. And we didn't do anything to be bad heels. It's just that at the time when wrestlers wore wrestling singlets and different, and then here Hawk and I come in with the mohawks and face paint and everything else. It was just different.
Yeah. I think they should have built Keith up for Brock. I agree with you as far as just going 2-3 months just storming through people.
Yeah, man. Listen, Brock doesn't want to go back there because of the COVID thing and all that nonsense. Mm-hmm. Coming down from Canada, he can't.
Right.
He lives in Canada, so there's no traveling allowed.
Right.
And I know people see that and they go, "Oh, Brock Lesnar's to be here." No, man, he's living in Canada. He's got dual citizenship.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's in Saskatchewan.
You can't cross the border right now.
Right.
So that's why he's not on TV. But there's your money. Was Brock and Keith?
Yes.
Brock being the heel with the belt and Keith taking it.
Yes, absolutely.
That's money right there, man.
Yep. I agree with Ray and Raymond. Oh, what a rush when it comes to Keith Lee versus. I actually wrote an article about that. I think it should be. I think Brock should get the belt back, like at Royal Rumble. I think Keith Lee should win the Royal Rumble and challenge Brock for the WWE Championship at Mania next year. I think that's a money match.
As much as people like Drew, Brock should come back and steamroll through Drew.
Yeah.
Right now, Brock's got that. There in this business, there's that it factor. Either guys got the it factor or they don't. I'm not saying that Drew doesn't have it, but that's to be seen yet. Maybe when they get back with people, you could do a little run with Brock and Drew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Drew chases around, and then maybe Drew wins it. But and Keith still could win the Royal Rumble.
Yes,
challenge either one of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I love Drew, but I think that this is just a bad time for him to be champ.
Yeah, man.
I think a heel should have been champ during this COVID era because it gives the fans more of a cliffhanger, and it gives the fans more of suspense for the babyface chasing. You're having a babyface in an era where the babyface isn't getting the energy from the crowd. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because the crowd isn't there. So you want that chase to say, okay,
Yeah.
well, there's an extra element of me watching TV because the heel's just like getting the babyface. So I want that suspense. I want to see the come up into the babyface. But if the babyface is champ during the COVID era, you're just plowing through talent, and
Yeah.
I'm not interested in the chase. If the heel's chasing and the babyface not chasing during this era, to me this doesn't make sense for
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100% on that one.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. And I think for Drew, for it being his first reign, I think they should have saved it. I really think they should have, and or if they should have just kind of pulled an audible and like probably during like July or June or something like that. Just like, you know what, during this COVID era, he shouldn't be champ because this is really his first time, and a heel should be
Yeah,
champ.
yeah, I
I
agree
think
with
they
you,
should
man,
have had
because
Lashley win it. I think Lashley should
they
have been
should
heel champ.
probably have had all the focus be on Braun.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
because they were in a situation there where they had to do with Braun taking the belt, and
Hmm.
now Bray has it, I believe, right?
Yep. Well, yep. Brady just won it last night. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, and go with that angle there, but maybe that thing wasn't gaining as much steam as they thought as well, too. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. At least that was something on
I don't even know what to
SmackDown.
think of that one.
Yeah. At least that has something going on as far as just it was long and it's been long and lengthy to an extent, which is good.
Yeah.
But I think with Drew, they're just putting people in front of him. He went against Lashley, he went against Ziggler, he went against Rollins, he went against a Lesnar show. I mean, he's just plowing through people, and I think that's I don't like that as a baby face who isn't getting that energy.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Bobby, what in the hell was Bobby Lashley doing with Dolph?
The Raw Underground.
The underground segment. Come on.
Yeah.
Bobby is a Bellator champion and should have freaking murdered Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
And what are they thinking there?
And it's like, to me, it's like you're trying to, it's kind of spitting in the face of what we see in the ring, because it's like wrestling is choreographed in the ring, and then you're kind of choreographing real fighting. So it's just like, which it is, it's like.
I saw that tonight and I'm going, what?
Yeah. Just doesn't make sense at all.
They've been abusing Dolph. They should have let Dolph just go.
Yeah.
Don't throw a guy like Bobby in there against him.
Yeah.
Dolph should do something where he cheats a little bit and he ends up beating a guy even in the underground thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he looks like the underdog. He's the smallest guy doing anything.
Yeah. And the thing is with this underground, like he's shown over the past few weeks, he's a Kent State, wrestling champion.
Oh, yeah.
And he's shown that his takedowns are pretty solid. But it's like, Dolph Ziggler is the ultimate utility guy. Like they just put him in everything, everywhere. That's just one of the worst places to be. Like, we're just going to put you in this spot and that spot.
I used to kid around about it on my podcast, my Water Rush deal. I said, boy, he gets screwed, blued, tattooed more than anybody in the company.
He does, man.
He'll go and he'll be gone for a while, come back, and within 2 weeks he's got a belt, and then the next month he's putting someone else over.
Yeah.
And then he just goes back and he disappears again, goes back to doing comedy. Now he's doing underground.
Yeah.
I said, Jesus,
we want you to open. We want you to be in the middle. We want you to main event.
Painted too. You want to come on and paint one of my bedrooms here?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So next we had a backstage segment with Angel Garza and Charlie and Crusoe and the Demi and all that. So, and then after that we had Montez Ford defeating Angel Garza. Now I love this. I love the Street Profits. I like that they're actually keeping the titles on them because they have so much charisma, man. I really love that they're not kind of hot-shotting the titles from them, because they've had it for a long time. They've had it for 5 months.
Honestly, though, again, there's a natural chemistry. There's a tag team with those guys.
Right.
Why you got them in a singles match?
Yeah.
You got 100 other guys in your company. Why do you have these two guys doing singles?
Yeah.
Let them going together.
Yep.
Just let them. Don't have them do singles. They could have easily put Andrade in there and done a tag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like they're trying to extend this tag team feud, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Okay, so I love Street Profits and Montez. I like both of them, but Montez, he really has that star quality, and that frog splash is very
Oh
impressive.
yeah, man, he gets up so high, it's like he's never coming down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but I like Angel Guard. I met Angel Garza. I've interviewed him live. Really nice guy. He's got a bunch of potential, but I don't know how I'm just not. Something's just not clicking with Andrade, and just something's not clicking with me when it comes to Angel Garza as like a a legitimate threat, to beat people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't. I don't know. It just to me, he's they had him in a cruiserweight for a while. I think that fit him well, but there's just something to me about Angel as a heel that just doesn't really click with me. I know that they're trying to find their new Eddie Guerrero, but
I thought for a while there, I thought that Andrade was really getting over as a single.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they put them together with that. I mean, listen, I don't think Selena
Vega.
Oh, Selena Vega, sorry. Gomez was, I think. Another Mexican girl. But can she control three guys?
Mm.
I mean, her promos aren't like that kind of killer where she should be speaking for three guys. I don't know, man. It's like something. It's like she looks beautiful. She looks great, but there's still something missing there.
Yeah.
In that whole thing.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
you have three Mexican wrestlers that can wrestle the Reds off.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. There's where the WWE does not. It's like when something's working good with tag teams, they go and they screw it up. They try to do something with it all the time.
Yeah.
Let it be a tag team match.
Yeah.
Street Profits are over. They're over.
Yes.
They are one of the most popular lines right now. To be honest with you, they can replace New Day right now as that team for selling cereal and lunch boxes and all that stuff. They could be that team as baby faces.
Yep.
And if that's the way they're going to do it, you got to let them be a team all the time.
100%. I agree. I like
unless
that.
you're going to break them up. That's where they're headed with New Day right now because, one's hurt, the other one needs time off, and Big E is going a singles route.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hope they do something with that. They better not break up the Street Profits because they're so talented.
No, that's so stupid, man.
Yeah, that would be. Next we got Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler backstage. They're having a discussion now. Now they're having a discussion that they're beating each other up, and so
pretty undecisive because a lot of discussions going on backstage.
Right, exactly. So looks like they're teaming together for Payback this weekend to go against Banks and Bailey for the tag titles.
I'd like to see. I wish there's a way we can gauge that. How many people change the channel when that's coming on?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
They used to gauge the ratings on television. Hey,
they do the quarter hours.
How much of a rating spike jumped up when certain people came on?
Yeah,
I wonder if people are really even into that whole thing.
I doubt it. That's a good question. I know they do the quarter hours now, so I guess it's a matter of just checking when it was on and checking that segment, a quarter hour. Yeah,
I think that, and although she was hurting a lot of girls, I think Nia, before she had her knees operated on, was a perfect version of Nia. It's almost like she's so conscious now about not hurting anybody because she probably got yelled at a lot by the company.
Yeah,
because a lot of girls were getting hurt from with their nose and different things. Probably got yelled at. So I think her method of the way she's doing things now is different. She's not letting loose.
She's like extra cautious.
Extra cautious on what she's trying to do. I think after she hurt Kairi Sane, which was a shoot that I think she probably got a talking to pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, so next we had Bianca Belair and the Riot Squad defeating the Iconics and Selena Vega.
What is Bianca Belair doing with them?
Yeah, it just
what an unlikely combination.
Yeah, it's really odd. Mike says he changed the channel. Every time Nia Jax is on TV, Mike changes the channel. So
yeah. I was almost with this either, Mike. I almost changed the channel myself.
I agree. I mean, Bianca Belair, I know that she was with Riot. She came back after like a month off or whatever. She was on Main Event for a while, and her and Ruby Riot were fighting against each other on like Main Event, and then they start teaming with each other, and then now Liv Morgan's in it, so I guess they're carrying that over. But I agree, she should be a single star, hands down. I mean, without a doubt, she should.
Well, man, I could have told you too. The thing with Liv Morgan wasn't working by itself.
Yeah,
when they did that.
Yeah,
that thing was so hot. And when Liv had the pink and white hair, and they did it like that, and then they separated that whole thing up, and I thought that Riot Squad thing was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then when I saw Bianca down there in NXT, and then when they brought her up, I thought that was like very seldom do I think that someone is that deserving to become brought up like that. To be honest with you, she should be in a class by herself here in this women's division.
Absolutely.
She should be the top dog in that thing, man, because she's very talented. She can talk, and she's good,
I always think of pro wrestling as, like, especially nowadays, I think of it like you're getting like a big focus group, of people who don't watch wrestling much, right?
Yeah.
And so you sit them down in a room, 5, 6, 7 people who don't watch wrestling, and what they should do, like, I think this is how I think about stars right now. You put on an episode of Raw, and you have a focus group, and what you do is you have the people who don't watch Raw say, "Oh yeah, she's a star. Yeah, she looks like a star.
Yeah.
She feels like a star. Yeah, he looks like a star. There's just something about him." And to me, that's the people you should push. You know what I mean? Because
that's a good idea, man. That's a good idea.
Because those are the people who, without even knowing anything about the business, anything about the products, that intrigues them, that allures them. Someone they can look at and be like, "Oh yeah, to me, Bianca Belair would win hands down in a focus group because she looks like an absolute star, and those are the people you should push, because that brings in the casuals.
I forget who she was working with at NXT the first time I saw her.
She was working with oh goodness, she worked with Baszler for a little bit. Was she a face or a heel? Because
she was heads and tails above everybody, flipping around in the ring. I'm going, what? Why is this girl still down here?
Yeah.
No, seriously, man. She needs to be brought up.
I wish they would have made a champ first.
Can you imagine the matches that she and like Rousey would have had?
Yeah.
Or something like that. As technical as they both could be.
Yep. I agree.
She could have stood toe to toe physically with the punches and everything else, and I don't know. I think she could be good against Becky.
I wish that they would build up Nia for her. Like I wish that it should be her and Nia Jax. Nia should get a bunch of heat and put over Bianca Belair. That'll make her even a bigger baby.
Here's the thing, though, man. I don't know.
Baszler as well.
Think about it, though, Chris. Do you think Nia's got that capability of getting that kind of heat anymore? I don't know.
I think people just don't like Nia Jax.
She's got this. She's got this like screw you factor about her look.
Yeah.
I mean, she personifies that aura, that screw you aura comes out of her like crazy.
Yeah.
And that's just an attitude thing of where
I agree.
Come out of your environment, right? And people can see that plain as day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think her size gives her an advantage, though. You know what I mean? Just as the biggest person on the roster, the biggest woman on the roster, I think that can give her some heat. Just like can you beat the biggest star on the show type of thing. So I think that that could help. So hopefully, I think somebody just needs to draw a bunch of heat to put over Bianca Belair because she deserves it for sure.
It's the same way with with Nia, as we're talking about with other guys. You need to like Nia, go out there and just annihilate people.
Yeah, that's true.
Let her be a heel, man. Go after everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And just destroy them.
Take no prisoners. Just destroy them.
Yeah. Destroy the Riot Squad next week. And
no, seriously. And then all of a sudden, here comes Bianca now.
Yep.
This ain't going to happen. You ain't going to destroy me. I mean, seriously, and let her. And at the same time, you need to let that babyface get some of those kind of wins herself.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I agree. So we got Apollo Crews and Bobby Lashley with the arm wrestling contest. We talked about that mess. We talked about the.
I looked at it and literally my chin was dragging along the ground, going.
Yeah, what? Like what? Yeah,
because I've been involved. We've been involved in those arm wrestling things myself, within this business, and I was real good friends with Scott Norton, who was a world arm wrestling champion. And I'm sitting there thinking, is this the best way you guys could throw this together? And did you throw it together like 30 seconds before the show?
Yeah, it just seems
like what are we gonna do? We're gonna throw arm wrestling thing in there.
Right, exactly.
With no thought, that's the way it came across tonight.
Yeah, yep. So then there was the Raw Underground, and before that was the Natalia and Lana thing that we talked about. And so then Randy Orton defeating Keith Lee by disqualification because of interference by Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre in the backstage, he was like, I like my friend, Keith Lee, but he's not going to do, my job for me. And he gets attacked by Randy Orton, punted for the third time. I just really thought this was a bad way to utilize Keith Lee. I thought, and then when Drew comes in, attacks Randy Orton, Drew gets back in the ring, and Keith Lee's nowhere to be found. He just
they got him out of the ring so fast, right? To put all the focus on Randy and Drew. Yeah,
it was horrible.
Excuse me, Keith. You're just going to be a 370 pound, just a piece of furniture today.
Yeah, exactly.
You need a powder out of there. Yeah, you're right, man. You mean to tell me between both companies, you couldn't have found anybody else that didn't mean anything to Randy to do that?
Right.
I mean, I know they had to promote, Keith Lee coming up, ladies and gentlemen, against the Viper. Yeah, I get it. But there's plenty of other guys down in NXT they could have brought up if they were going to bring up someone from NXT. Yeah. Don't bring Keith up there like that and have him really do nothing.
Yeah. I think this is a bad time to call him up. This is COVID era.
Yeah. Why call him up right now?
Yeah.
Listen, we're getting one step closer to people being able to go back to the arena. Why call him up right now?
Exactly.
Do it when you get the biggest bang for your buck with a crowd.
Yes. Because he would get that pop. He would get that,
people like him.
Yes.
Did you see the reaction when he went nose to nose with Brock?
Oh, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Crazy, man.
Yes.
I haven't seen that kind of pop reaction for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was huge.
And that happened. So there it works. It can work. Either they're doing something that we know nothing about. Maybe they think we're going to bring him up now and do that because maybe Brock's going to come down. There's going to be a big face-off with Brock and Keith.
Yeah. And Mike said it's hard to hide Keith Lee. So I agree.
You can't really hide him.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did, man, but they must have told him roll out of the ring and jump over the freaking barricade or something because he was disappeared. Yeah, they definitely should have waited for him for sure. Then we get more Raw Underground with Bobby Lashley beating up Cedric Alexander, and then the Viking Raiders get beat up by the Hurt Business. What a way to use them. That was horrible. Poor Viking Raiders, another couple guys. What was that whole thing? Yeah. Oh, my God. What we could do, you could do better. Oh, my. Anything you do, we could do better type deal. Jeez. Yeah. It was horrible. That was painful TV. Yeah. With the Street Profits. That was painful to watch. Yeah, it was. Absolutely. And it did neither team any good. And the Viking Raiders, believe it or not, I mean, people actually like them too.
Yeah, they do.
So, but
Yeah.
now they're destroyed because on the underground they get murdered.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, what a way to use them.
don't go back to underground anymore, Viking Raiders.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe
Terrible.
go back to the main roster where you can stay over.
Right.
Underground, you're getting beat up.
You're getting beat up, right? And so we ended with Ray and Dominic against Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. I really enjoyed this match. I like Dominic. He's really been impressing me ever since just this period. Just last year when he was in the feud with Ray and Brock. I think that really added a good element. I've really been liking him.
I've known Dominic since he was a little guy, like 10.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And because I used to travel with Ray once in a while when I was there, my last little stint in WWE. And Dominic, you talk about getting thrown into the fire.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's handling it, for
he
a
is.
young guy in this business, and that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
TV is a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I could only explain to you when you're sitting there at the gorilla position ready to go to the ring, and you think you got a 20-minute TV segment coming up with entrances, you probably got now maybe 16 minutes with 2 minutes on each side for entrances. And all of a sudden you get up there and they go, oh, yeah, man, we're running over. You got 4 minutes.
Wow.
Your whole segment. Now you got to figure out what you're going to do. And on the way to the ring, you got to carve everything out of your match.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's live TV. There's no do-overs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was at the second.
Dominic came in there. He took an ass kicking with those kendo sticks. Did you see his back after that and her stomach?
That was his initiation.
Oh, welcome to wrestling, kid.
Right.
So you want to be a star, right? And then when it came time for he and Ray to come back and do it to Seth and Buddy, they did it really well too.
Yeah, they got it in them.
The thing is I absolutely, Rey Mysterio is one of my favorite people in this world, period.
Mm-hmm.
But when he gets mad for like the eye for an eye kind of gimmick, I almost can't even believe him. He's got that mean streak in him because he's Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's such a sweetheart, nice guy. I almost want to start laughing when he says, we're going to get even, eye for an eye. You start speaking Spanish and, you hurt my family, la familia, and
yeah.
I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, I was impressed with Dominic. I mean, he made his debut on the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, can you believe it? And he did it good, too.
Yeah, he was impressive. I'm impressed. I like his gear. I like, I just like Dominic.
Name going,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan, man. And then at the end, I mean, the match was really good. And then you get Retribution come out and beat up Dominic and Ray. It just
I tell you what,
what a buzzkill.
That whole, if you think about it, right? Don't want to get real political now on this thing and just keeping it even keel, but with what's going on in society today in Portland and a lot of big major cities, right? People are dying, businesses are getting destroyed, looted, people are stealing and not acting normal, I just think even having anything like a Retribution come in there is wrong.
Yeah, timing.
We don't need, the timing's not right. We don't need that in our business. What we need is something to be healing in our society and our business.
Yeah.
And everybody do, our message should be people are people, we work hard for what we do things, you know what I mean? And I don't know, man. I just don't think, because what they're doing is too much of the crap that's going on in their inner cities and society. I mean, I sit there and think about it. Well, can't think, gosh, how would I feel, if someone did that to my business and broke in there and destroyed everything that I worked my whole life for, especially if I was an immigrant coming over from Korea or somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that, or someone's just driving through a neighborhood and they get yanked out of their truck, and like that kid that got kicked in the head, that got caught on tape. The guy got caught on tape doing it. I'm going, there's what I think. If you were to do a question, a survey online, you're probably going to get that kind of reaction on a lot of people. You know what I mean? Stay away from that. It's no different when they did with when Hawk had his drug problems and they were put out on TV and be all messed up.
Yeah.
It's just too close to home.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's plenty of other things you could do. And the Retribution thing, I don't know.
I agree. And the thing is, here's the thing, even from a from a wrestling standpoint, the build of it's been weird. They need to hurry up and unveil who's behind it. And I've said this before. I'll say this a lot. Look, every week I see Retribution. The payoff better be good. I mean, like the payoff better be good. Because
Yeah,
if it's not,
what
it's going to be one of the worst things talked about in pro wrestling history. If
now
the payoff isn't good.
if they out of the blue came up with another faction that cleaned house on Retribution,
Mm.
maybe
Yeah. If
maybe the payoff could be great. But I mean, who's going to be the main brains, the brainchild behind Retribution?
and that's the thing. Like if
Yeah,
it, like the person who's unveiled or revealed to be the mastermind behind it, if it's just some mid carder or somebody that's not a big name, this is
yeah.
going to be this is going to absolutely fall flat and be talked about in infamy.
In the day, it would have been really good, and if someone like when Vince was screwing with Stone Cold a lot, if it would have been Vince behind someone like Retribution,
Yeah, he tried to do that
be
with
the
a
big
higher
payoff
power
guy,
though, and
where
that
you
fell
had the
flat.
big blow off with Stone Cold and Vince, then it
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. I think
But you
if
know, maybe hey, listen, maybe Roman Reigns is going to be the big payoff with
yeah,
Retribution.
I thought of Roman Reigns, but he came back
Since
and
now
cleared
he's
house
coming back, you
yesterday.
know.
Yeah, he came back and cleared house last night. So against
Yeah, now
Bray
he's
and
thrust
Braun.
right in back. Right here, you go, a guy that's been gone for better part of 6 months.
Yeah,
Right back in the mix in the main thing right now again.
yeah. He's a star though. I think if he was revealed to be Retribution, I think the payoff there would have been good. But I don't see anybody else with this, the level of star quality as Roman Reigns that
No, man,
is there.
Listen, Roman's box office. You know, he reminds me a little bit of a young Rock.
Mm,
You know, a lot of times the fans that know how to take him in the
yeah,
beginning a little bit, right?
yep,
And then once they figured out he's talented, then they use him in the proper way.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
man, I remember Hawk and I working with Rock when he was part of the Nation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Nation of Domination
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
That which to me I thought was one of the best factions ever in the wrestling business,
Mm-hmm.
and they just ended it too soon because it got so hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially Ron Simmons was such a mastermind of that when they had us together with Ahmed Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
One WrestleMania, Hawk and I did the thing with Ahmed Johnson. You know,
Yep.
that was like great against the Nation. You know, so I would like to see that kind of stuff come back in tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
And do it like that
agree.
than what they're trying to do today.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what the payoff is. I'm not impressed, and I hope that the payoff is good. So,
to me, man, after all, this is all about the fans. You know, we should have fans write in here and write in some ideas or thought processes or questions on the way they would feel, how they would try to make it better. What would they like to see?
yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can hit on that next week a little bit.
Yep.
I'm really curious on what the fans would feel about it.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
on some of the stuff that we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can give it from your point from being a fan. I give it from my point of being someone who's in that ring at the time.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of my opinions come from because I pretty much, Hawk and I were successful in knowing what works in this business and what's going to draw money. You know,
Yeah.
some of the stuff right now I think is just missing the mark.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Big time.
Yeah. Well, one thing that is not missing the mark is episode 1 of the Legion of Raw. That definitely did not miss the mark.
Bro, it's done. Yeah. I like it.
It's been a pleasure, man. This is going to be a fun ride. I can already tell, man. I really enjoy it. This has been a really good Raw recap, man. And let the listeners know what you got coming up before we close up tonight.
Yeah, actually, man, I got a pretty easy schedule. I don't go out again until like the middle of September for when I go down there and do another SWE taping. So, but I'll be doing episodes of my Water Rush podcast here. I record them on Wednesdays. We drop them every Friday on Apple iTunes. So
nice.
That's what I'll be doing, and then the work I'm doing with you on Mondays. So it's fun doing it from this side of the ring.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Well, episode 1 in the books has been a pleasure. The live audience has been stayed really popular. So I appreciate all the live audience. Once
Awesome.
again, this is episode 1 of the Legion of Raw podcast with Chris Featherstone and Road Warrior Animal signing off. Have a good night, everybody.
Now, what a rush.